Hello and welcome back to Mars Live. We are going to be looking at the reveals from the Capcom Cup. We're going to be looking at Mr. Lee. He had some of the figures in hand and he literally just posted that moments ago. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be talking about how the overall just feel for the Capcom was on Storm Arena's front. 5-2 toys. Still haven't seen anything on display, which at this point, I don't think anything is going to be on display for 5-2 toys. All we got, to my knowledge, was just a Twitter posting pretty much confirming that more Street Fighter was going to be coming and that we could pre order now Chun Li and Ryu from 5-2 toys, though I don't see the pre order anyway or anywhere. So we're going to be talking about the overall showcasing and then where do we go from there. So that's where we're at now. We've got Stone saying that I can't wait, buddy. I'll set my alarm. This was at 5 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock it said 30 minutes. Okay, so we should be seeing Stone back in the chat here in just a minute or in a few moments. We've got Alligator saying M. Bison Horse is a day one pre-order for him. You should do that. You definitely should get your pre-orders in. And when that becomes available, you know we're going to have the pre-order breakdown here on the channel. And you can pretty much feel confident going to Storm Collectibles website and getting the figure directly from the webpage. I just got my T-Hawk in today, and that was shipped directly from Storm Collectibles. Not as soon as others out there, though the timing pretty much was perfect because this is the day we woke up and we're talking Capcom Cup, and now we've got T-Hawk in our possession. So we're going to be doing a review of T-Hawk probably next week sometime. I'm not going to lie. We're going to be taking a break just because we've been dropping a video and going live every day for about 10 days now. So it's been great. Viral Virginia, what up? Hello, hello. Welcome in. So I hope everyone's been having a great day. I hope everyone is ready to be talking some Storm Arena. We've got Shin Akuma in the house saying, what up, people? What up, my people? Hope everyone's having a great day. The news dropped. Of course, we were talking about Darkstalkers and everything like that. Let's go ahead and bring that stuff up, actually. Let's see here. Here we are. So, yeah, we're on the Storm Arena web page or Facebook page, 7,000 followers. So they're starting to gain a lot of momentum for themselves, which is great. Really love that for them. Been up for about a year now, or maybe a little over a year now. They've got 7,000 followers. So that's not that bad. I'm not sure what the numbers were like for Storm Collectibles on their first year run, but so far it's looking pretty good for Storm Arena. Okay. So yeah, let's take a look at what we've got here, all the photos and things like that. Now this dropped pretty early on in the morning. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning when we got this. And here it is. Zoom in a little bit here. So this is it. This is what we got to talk about tonight. Yeah, we have 20 people here now watching the stream. Make sure you hit the like button. We greatly appreciate that. And yeah, let's get into this. Let's talk about it. So what was everyone's favorite reveal? For me, my favorite reveal has to be the Darkstalkers Felicia. And let's be honest, there weren't many reveals at this event. We only got technically 3 Sagat and then the 2 Darkstalker figures. And that's pretty much it. So I think honestly, this might have been a perfect move for Storm. Why we haven't seen so much of Darkstalkers is because the first year they were focusing on Street Fighter Alpha 3. Now, here we are. This is the first event since all of this has started where we don't have a new reveal at an event for Alpha 3. It's a switch up, it's a change. Could this potentially mean that Storm Arena, now that they've gone so deep into Alpha, I mean, they've revealed a lot of characters. We've got a lot of possible pre-orders coming out of the event. Is it possible now that they're going to back off of Alpha 3? Maybe the last pre-order that we get for Alpha 3 may be Balrog or Zangief for a while, and then we're gonna start seeing other pre-orders from different properties. That would be pretty cool. Overall, though, I must say, I do feel like the event was a bit underwhelming. The biggest thing coming out of this would have to be the Darkstalkers reveals and then Street Fighter 6 Sagat. Those are the biggest things coming out of this event, which honestly, that's not too bad. We know heading in to the end of the year at the Anime's Pro Festival, that's where Storm is going to reveal much more. They're going to have a lot of things on display and things like that. Hell, even like the New York Comic Con, we're going to see much more on display. Maybe not as many figures as we're seeing here, but new figures, hopefully, at the New York Comic Con. It would suck if this group of figures were the only ones to be revealed for the rest of the year. But as long as we've got some figures coming out and the excitement's in the air, we've got some kind of reveals, I think that won't be a problem. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the chat. Shinakuma says that Balrog is absolute fire. My favorite reveal. It's a good one. Let's see some different angles here. If we can get a little closer. Yeah, not the best picture that we can see because the lighting just really isn't the greatest. But yeah, the Balrog does look fire. I agree. Viral says there wasn't a lot of reveals. Yeah, only 3, surprisingly enough. And I'm just happy we got the Felicia. I think that looks decent, and we're going to be seeing the in-hand shots from Mr. Lee himself in just a few moments. But let's get through this chat here. Boogie's saying mine was Balrog. Okay, so yeah, Balrog is getting a lot of love on these reveals here. I was expecting some player 2 reveals, to be honest. Maybe still time. That is possible. I would love to see Storm bring out some new figures as the event progresses. Like maybe the day of the finals, we get like a new reveal. That would be pretty cool. Just seeing how the showcase here is, like the casing, the display cases. I don't know if there are any more room, or if there is any more room for other displays. Now, I will also say, if you go over here on their Toy Arena, or wait, it might be the Storm Collectibles page. Yeah, 1 second. Storm Collectibles. Let's go check a look at that real quick. If you come over here to Storm Collectibles and you go down to the photos and things like that, oh great, they're here too. Good, so we don't have to go back and forth. This was at the Anime Pro Festival. You can see here, this is their official posting at that event. Though hours later or a day later, they had the exclusives for Ryu and Ken on display. So maybe there is a chance we could see a new reveal before the end of the tournament. Again, we're still waiting for the grand final day. That needs to happen where we could see another reveal. Maybe not for Alpha 3, maybe for Darkstalkers. Who knows at this point? Well, probably Darkstalkers no, but Alpha 3, there is room for a reveal for Alpha 3 for sure. Little concerned that our Mika and Cammy aren't painted yet, but oh well. I am too, because that was one of my expectations going into this event, was that we would see our Mika painted, we would see Cammy painted. We did get to see Balrog painted, so at least that happened. They did the Balrog in the perfect darker blue. Yeah, now it's just a matter of, will this be what we get when pre-orders come and the figures release? Because if we learned anything from last year, that may not be the case. Though this year, the only new painted figure that they have on display, I do believe, is Balrog, because Zangief was already painted previously at the other events. So the only new painted figure on display is actually Balrog, and a lot of people are really enjoying Balrog. So you can see here. That's it. Just Balrog. Only one painted at the event. And then let's go see the chat here. Yes, very underwhelming in my opinion. Sun says, yo, what's good? What's good, Sun? So yeah, very underwhelming. That's pretty much like nail on the head there. I agree. Was hoping to see Guy. I was hoping to see a 5-2 toys display, a Fig Light display. All we got was an a Twitter posting pretty much confirming like, yeah, you can pre-order these figures, though there are no pre-order links. And yeah, we're working on Cammy and Akuma, so you'll see much more on that later on. A bit a bit trash. Sun says lighting is trash. I agree. So hopefully we get some other stuff. And again, we do have Mr. Lee coming in clutch. We're going to be looking at that in just a moment. He's got the figures in hand, the grayed out figures. I haven't seen Balrog. At least I don't believe I've seen Balrog. What do you think about Chun-Li? Looks like they updated her a bit. Yes, it does look to be the case. Hopefully, amongst the videos Mr. Lee will drop throughout the week, if he does, assumingly, we're going to get a closer look at Chun-Li. Hell, it would even be great if we can get an official announcing from Storm themselves or even Mr. Lee saying, yes, they've updated the sculpt. Just any official word would be great. It's all reveals, no releases. They need to up their manufacturing. Sagat was slated for November and released in February. Not good. Well, Sagat was originally slated for Q4 of 2025, which, it all depends on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from a collector here in the States, so you're basing your release dates off of what, you know, online retailers have here in the States, or are you basing it off of Hong Kong and are they satisfying their Hong Kong street release date? Which in that case, the argument for me would be yes, they are, because Sagat released last year in December, which is Q4 of 2025 in Hong Kong, which I'm actually not sure now how long it's been. Yeah, February, right? So quite longer here domestically, though. They did actually commit to their release date over in Hong Kong. Sun says that would be cool. Boogie looks like Chung Li's head is bigger. Yeah, that seems to be like the popular opinion on that. And then I doubt there's any new reveals. Yeah, it would be cool. The only company that I know really does that I can think of in recent times regarding Street Fighter, I mean, obviously is going to be Jada Toys, right? Like on the first night of the San Diego Comic-Con, I think we just got Ryu and Charlie, and then the next day we got Chun-Li. So they've done that, which, is pretty cool. I like how they do things like that too. I want to say Mezco might do something like that as well, but I can't honestly remember. I feel like Mezco, when you're at the event, like when you're at the con or when you're at the toy fair, they have everything already on display. And then if you're at home, then you're seeing the postings and things like that. So yeah, Jada Toys, they're the only ones to my knowledge that ever revealed figures along the con or along the event, if that makes sense. Unless it's a pre-order. Got Pink Ken in today. Congratulations. I think mine should be arriving tomorrow. And we were just talking about the Pink Ken last night and how that figure is going for $200 to $300 on eBay, which is pretty insane. Wait until Akuma comes out and there's the first exclusive of Akuma. It's probably going to be like $400 or $500. So be on the lookout for that. Akuma says, well, his character select screen has him in the darker blue color. So let's hope so. Okay, that's fair. Balrog and Zangief are insane, though. Storm is still the king of action figures. Absolutely. And I love that Capcom gave them that, like, space at their event to display what they've got going on. I want those Final Fight figs. Hager seems kind of small. Yeah. He's not the same that he looked when we from last year, that's for sure. Definitely not the same Hager. He's different in some capacity. I mean, he looks to be almost as tall as Zangief. Granted, Zangief is standing all the way up. Okay, Zangief is standing all the way up. Hager's knees, they are bent a bit, but even still, like they look to be, head to head. So I wonder if Hager is actually going to be a little bit taller when it comes to seeing these figures in hand side by side here. Let's see. We've got Corey says, I'm making a guy figure. Yeah, screw waiting, bro. Just make it your own. Make your own. Sun says Mezco equals trash cans. Sleepy Z's. Yeah, that Samurai Jack figure was pretty cool, though. They clearly wanted to prioritize aesthetic from the cartoon versus, like, I don't know, articulation and things like that. And usually, well, not usually, but Mezco there for a while in the beginning, about a decade ago, I guess now, or no, a little bit more. I don't know. Whenever they start coming around, they had like their own Mezco modifications they would do to the characters themselves. So it wasn't like a beat for beat. They would have their own influence into the design. Maybe that would have benefited Samurai Jack. I'm not sure, but if it would have gave better articulation, I would have welcomed it. Let's see. Uh I feel like Jada should give up on the Alpha series and just move on to the 6-inch scale Street Fighter 6 line. I would love a Street Fighter 6 Sagat. His current design looks awesome. Well, you don't have to wait much further, hopefully, for the Storm Collectibles Sagat. Now, obviously, that is a different scaling that's coming in at the 6 or 7-inch versus the 6-inch scaling. And I don't know if like I feel like any which direction Jada goes in, like they're kind of in a tough spot. We don't know how much these alpha figures are going to cost. And if they're going to be anywhere between $45 to $55, what will stop people apart from like, loyalty, of course, to Jada. But apart from that, what's going to stop people from potentially venturing out and looking at 5-2 toys and their Fig Light line, right? With their Street Fighter 6. How is if Jada was to go into Street Fighter 6, they would have to be appealing and, relatively cheap compared to 5-2 toys, which I believe they're selling their figures between $50 to $60. 5-2 toys is, and that Chun Li that they had on display at the Wonder Festival last month in Japan, that was pretty nice. It was really good from Street Fighter 2. So who knows? I mean, I don't know if Jada's going to be able to catch a break unless they just go from pivot from both directions and go into Street Fighter 3 or just stop doing Street Fighter. We don't know what's going to happen here. Spaded One says, I've always stayed away from the standard Storm stuff because of the scale, but the arena line has me rethinking that stance. And now I have the regular Storms on deck this week. Skullomania up first. Yeah, Skullomania is a great figure, nicely articulated, nice design, little small box, great pricing. So I don't think you'll be disappointed with that pickup whatsoever. Hager looks good up close. I guess I was expecting more mass on him. Yeah, let's go back and I can't remember. I don't know. I think again it was Storm Arena. That's like the one thing that's challenging because like you've got the Storm Arena page and you've also got the Storm Collectibles page, and they're on like different links here. They're on like different waves. So if we go back here and you look at uh, Mike here, you can see I don't know. I mean, maybe he was a bit bulkier back then before we moved on to where we're at now. A year later, by the way, a year later, and we still don't have the pre-orders for those Storm collectible figures, which is a bit wild. Concerning, I wouldn't say that, but just a bit wild overall here. Oh wait, okay. Gogi boy, what's up? Storm should focus on arena and forget about arena. Yeah, like forget about the other line. I got you. Collectibles. Yep. Jada should do third strike. Yeah, I think that's like the cards, like that's the hand they're being dealt at this moment because again, we don't know the pricing of Alpha. If it's gonna be that 45 to 55 or even $60 range, depending on how much the pricing is, they're gonna have competitors from both angles. You've got competitors from Storm Arena coming in at $30, and then you've got competitors from 5-2 Toys coming in at $50 to $60. So it's like they have to find that sweet spot in between them, but also be different. You're kind of screwed with Alpha 3 because you've got Storm and they're dropping absolute masterpiece sculpt work here. 5-2 Toys is to be determined, but they're going to be a bit more pricier. Maybe the accessories and things like that will be worth it for the consumer. But then Jada's got to find their spot, and maybe just stepping away from Alpha 3 would be their best decision, but I don't think they're going to. At least let's hope not, because that wouldn't look good just overall, unless it comes down to strictly business. And if that's the case, hopefully they've got a great marketing strategy to show off why they're going to make that switch. Availability is the deterring factor. Yes, that is true for Jada, and they're definitely winning in that front for sure. When will my Oh yeah, SHF Yuji come? That's what I'm saying. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about some JJK. I'm very excited for that one. Hopefully, it should be releasing this week. And then if you've got it from, or whoever you got it from over in Japan, if you went that route, You should be able to get it by the end of the week next week. There's also Krauser. I think Krauser on Instagram is also going to have those figures up for sale. I don't know about Spider-Man. I think he's having Spider-Man. Definitely the JJK figures he's going to have up. So be on the look for Krauser on Instagram. Okay. But yeah, very excited for Yuji. I can't wait to review that figure in the nature setting. Let's see. Third Strike would be good to imagine Gil in articulated form. Yeah, I think Gil, he's the one that with the blonde hair and the different color skin tones and stuff like that. He looks pretty cool. Hey Mars, glad to see some Darkstalkers. Felicia looking fire. Yes, she is. See Wolf, thank you for joining up. Gogu says 5-2 Toys needs to make characters no one else is making, like Kimberly and Manson. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be smart because now it's going to get a little bit more tricky for everybody because the Street Fighter IP, it like the action figure community, like the action figure market for Street Fighter is like getting flooded, bro. It's coming from every direction. You've got Alpha 3, two Alpha 3s out there. You've got Street Fighter 6 out there. I mean, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else apart from maybe like some third party independent releases. But yeah, I mean, Alpha 3, Street Fighter 6, where do you go from there? Ultra Street Fighter 2 as well with Jada. So a lot of different Street Fighter figures are clashing in the market, and it's going to be pretty cool to cover. So we have Spaded One says, I don't know, man. Jada is great, but the Storm Arena stuff is just much better. Kind of want to see Jada do more cartoon and mascots instead of making more fighting game stuff. Ooh, that's crazy. Yeah, I agree. Like I like the take that they're doing with Scooby Doo. If they want to go in that route where they want to do IPs similar to like Scooby Doo, Powerpuff Girls, like Cartoon Network IPs. I think that's cool. They've got their thing that they're doing with Cyberpunk, which is pretty cool and stuff. Invincible, I think that's like going to be the biggest thing for Jada Toys now, and that's okay. Like if you're a company and you're looking back on it, like you got your name, I would say from Ultra Street Fighter 2, right? And that's totally fine. Like you did it justice. You did a great job. We're still waiting for you to finish the roster. But when we look back on these things, yes, like Jada Toys, I would say they started off like with the Street Fighter branding of Ultra Street Fighter 2, okay? And then I think Invincible is going to carry them too. So like although most would like for them to jump on different Street Fighter stuff, and I do too, and they are going to do that. I feel like Invincible is also going to gain them popularity as well. Spade says, I don't mean to knock on Jada at all, by the way. Their stuff is awesome, just wild. There's somehow a better option in that price range. Yeah, of course. Obviously, yes. That's the whole thing for Storm. We've confirmed at the New York Comic Con when we spoke to Lethal Collector, when we spoke to the owner, like he's competitive. Jada brought the competition and now here we are. They're flooding everything Alpha 3. And by the time Jada reveals or even probably puts up for pre-order their Alpha 3 figure, I mean, Storm Arena is going to have probably at least 6 figures out. I mean, it's almost guaranteed if Charlie comes out next week, that's going to be the case. So it's only going to get worse in that matter when you're looking at it like that. But let's go ahead and take a look over here at Mr. Lee 22 minutes ago. Let's refresh the page just in case he might have went through some other stuff here. Oh, yes, he did. Good shit. Look at that. All right, so damn, Zangief, look at him. He's looking real good up close. He's looking different. I don't know. He kind of looks different. This is our second time seeing Zangief up close, okay? And he's got a nice grumpy expression on his face. And it looks pretty good. I mean, what do you all think? This is my first time seeing it up close like this. I'm dying to know what you all think in the comments or in the chat. So let me know. We got Hustle. He says, "Sup, fellas?" Hustle said, "We got ball rocking Zangief right. The new I'm sorry, ball rocking Zangief right, and the new Sagat looks promising." Yes, she does. Yes, he does. We got I agree on Jada. Sad that Jada was the one that made Storm Collectibles get off their back because they were eating their lunch. Yeah, of course. Like pretty much like the best way to sum it up is that Jada woke up the sleeping giant, bro. That's pretty much what it is. And they're here now. Storm Arena's here. And it's crazy because when you look at other, like Mr. Lee, for an example, he made a post, and we'll see here in a minute, where it was pretty much Marvel versus Capcom, but the Marvel side had different companies building that line, building that team, the Marvel team, right? It was like Amazing Yamaguchi and uh there's another one. Oh, Hasbro was in there, though he didn't credit Hasbro. And there might have been an SH Figure Arts, right? But when you look at the Street Fighter side, bro, it's all Storm Arena. It's all Storm Collectibles. And that's why at the end of the day, I just appreciate Storm so much because they're consistent. They stay in their lane, they stay in their niche, and they don't venture out too crazy. So you're getting exactly what you want and you're expecting exactly what you think. I mean, we literally just predicted that they were going to reveal Felicia because they have a pattern and that you can study the pattern to make, like, credible and, almost accurate predictions, right? And we did just that. So that's like another plus for me when it comes to Storm. Uh also what Also, that's what 10 Alpha 3 figs. That's about one quarter of the or one fourth of the roster announced in a bit over a year. I think they're focused on finishing the roster. Yeah, I think they are too. And if they finish the roster, I know a lot of people aren't expecting that, but at this momentum and pace that they're going, I mean, these Darkstalker reveals that we got, they could very well be released in late 2027, late 2028, and just next up for pre-order, boom, Zangief, boom, then Balrog by the end of the year, or probably before the end of summer, before the probably before summer starts, which I think is June 20th, right? So that's like the 6th month, the 20th day of the year. I think we're gonna have Zangief on pre-order and we're gonna have Balrog on pre-order, and that's probably gonna be it for 2026. Maybe both of those figures can squeeze in and be released by the end of the year. And if that's the case, if we have a future where that is the case, it's like, yeah, they're definitely focusing on Alpha, and they probably are gonna shoot for getting most of the roster done. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We had someone comment on one of our videos pretty much saying all of the figures they've announced so far, a little over 10. I think it's more than 10. Only a few more, and you've already got Alpha 1 roster completed. Only two more, now you've got Alpha 2 roster completed, and you haven't even completed the third roster. So when we look back on that, it's going to be like, well, yeah, they didn't finish Alpha 3, if that is the case, but they finished the roster for Alpha 1. They finished the roster for Alpha 2. And I think that's the direction that Storm is trying to get into, to where when people look back on this, they're going to be like, yeah, well, they didn't finish 3, but we got 1 and 2, and that's a win in my book. I'd be fine with his head if we got 2 more heads per figure. Yeah, if we could get 3 head sculpts or maybe even 4 head sculpts, then maybe that's something that could come in the future. Now, we want that, and we can, be vocal about that, but we also got to be ready to cough up that dough. If they're going to throw in 3 head sculpts, then the figure could go from 30 to 45, just for as an example, which for us reviewers, that could mean paying going from 50 to $60 to maybe 60 to $80, which honestly, I don't give a damn. I'm still here. I'm still going to show up for it. Sun says, face seems strange, but I don't know. Yeah, this face does seem a bit off, though. It does give me Zangief, a young Zangief. I'm just not too familiar with the character to sit here and say like, oh, I haven't seen this expression in Alpha in any of the Alpha series, because that very well may be the case. I mean, maybe this head sculpt, not every head sculpt is going to be beat for beat, as we know. Zangief looks right, but the arm joints looks like blocked due to the joints. Yeah, I can see that. Let's actually play it a little bit more and see if we get anything else here. Oh shit, bro. Bro, hold up. We're not finished done talking. I need to take my shirt off. Hold on. It's getting hot in here. Oh. All right. We're back. We're locked in. Morgan pops on screen and it gets hot. We got to take off the flannel. Okay. Let's lock in real quick. Let's finish up. I need to catch up on the comments. Dane, that Zangief look Dang, that Zangief up close looks fire. It does look good. I like the I do like the bulkiness. They're showing off the articulation, which is great. Stone says that Sagat will look nothing like this when it actually releases. So maybe it will look better. Hey everyone. Welcome in, Stone. Glad you made it. Hustle, hold my beer. Hustle says, hold my beer. Hold up, hold my beer is what Storm has said to Jada. Yeah, pretty much. Like basically, right? Got a can of monster down me and I'm up. All right, ready to go. Get your sets in. Sagat, I mean Zangief. Yeah, Zangief, he's looking good. Yeah, probably by the time this figure's released. I mean, it all just depends, right? You know, we're just seeing these postings here. Maybe Storm Arena is going to post it on their Facebook page, on their Instagram page. That would be cool if we can see it on there. Let's double check and see. And if people really aren't vibing with the expression that we're getting for Zangief, well, then I'm sure they'll make that known. And if that's the case, well, then expect adjustment. Oh my god, I just saw Balrog, bro. Holy shit. All right, let's I'm not even gonna make y'all wait. We're just gonna keep watching this shit. So there's Morgan, she's looking good. There's Balrog, damn, up close and personal. There's Chun-Li, and there's Zangief. So we're gonna just keep it on replay, keep it on repeat. If you're just joining us, make sure you hit that like button. We've got 42 people in here right now. Hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. We are at the Capcom Cup. We're getting some in-hand, closer looks at these figures. That Balrog looks freaking insane. Holy hell, that is a nice head sculpt for Balrog. I just want the pre-order for Darkstalkers to happen soon. It's been a year now. Like I'm saying, people, like I'm expecting a lot of pre-orders heading out of this month. Okay, so hopefully we get that Darkstalker pre-order because damn, that Morgan looks pretty good. And the fact that we've been speculating here, we've been sitting here speculating for weeks now. Zangief is going to go for pre-order because we saw him painted at the Anime's Pro Festival. Up next probably would be like Balrog, and because he was like second on the roadmap, right? We have Akuma, he is now up for pre-order. Balrog was second on the roadmap. He is now painted. So that's why we've got like two speculations for those two figures. Now you show me this shit with Morgan. Chun-Li is already on pre-order. So like, okay, bro, I'm expecting a Morgan pre-order by the end of this month. If they don't, we riot. We go to Storm's page and we comment like, what the hell is going on? Wish they revealed John Taubin. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Dimitri and Bonnie. I think the unique characters like Birdie, Guy, etc. will be released because the repaint funded those. Okay, yeah. I think that's fair. That's a fair take. Alpha 3 roster is pretty much all Ultra Street Fighter 2 and also all the Alpha exclusive characters like Sakura and Sodom. That would be huge. Yeah. By the time it's all said and done, if they complete the whole roster, which ultimately at this point, all that effort you're putting in, bro, just y'all need to complete the roster already and just be done with it. Right? Like go strive for that. Finish it before the end of the decade. And if you do that, if you finish Ultra Street Fighter 3, you would have completed like multiple rosters on the way. So like you don't even have to touch Street Fighter for a while. I mean, if you want to go to Street Fighter 6, yeah, sure, but you won't have to. And we do have sad news, and we're getting that a little bit here about the IPs regarding Storm. We do have an update on that matter as well. Chun-Li still looks rough in my opinion, but the rest is lit. Yeah, I haven't really got a good look here at just this Balrog, bro. It's like it's giving Dragon Ball Z aura. I don't know why, but that expression is just giving me Dragon Ball Z aura. I don't know. Let's see. Q1 nearly over, still no KOF releases. Well, I think for KOF, what's probably going to end up happening is, and I hope this is true, maybe when we do see KOF, it's all going to be released at the same time. Now, you may hear that and think to yourself, oh, they've never done that. Well, at the end of the year, they released pretty much side by side Cobra and M. Bison, and they have released figures side by side in the past. And here's something else for you. This is a bonus for you here that adds to my theory that we're going to see all three KOF figures dropped at one time. And that's because at the Anime Pro Festival, if you've been watching the channel, you know we got from that event a Storm Collectibles water bottle, right? It's a plastic Storm Collectibles water bottle. You all had asked if it's like cracked or fading or anything like that. Yes, the logo, the Storm Collectibles logo is cracking on the bottle. But here's the thing. At that event, they also had a Storm Arena water bottle. The difference is that water bottle for Storm Arena was metal. Yeah, different quality, bro. I'm telling you, it can last. It can last a lot more than that plastic bottle. So yeah, they had a metal Storm Arena water bottle. If you pre-ordered all three KOF figures at the same time, why would you have that if they're not going to release at the same time? My theory is because they've been putting so much energy and effort into Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, and these Capcom IPs. When we get KOF, all three are going to drop, and I hope that is going to happen. People have been saying Storm will never finish the line when this isn't the same Storm. This is a new Storm who has something to prove. Exactly, bro. I mean, you really can't stress that enough. People like to cling to the past. That's fine. You love to cling to the past that Jada Toys started this whole thing. But here we are, and where are they? So let's not cling to the past, right? We need to look forward to the future here. I said that, bro. Let's see. Stone, I'm coughing. We'll get some, hey man, get some cough drops. I don't want you getting, you got to make it through the stream here. I appreciate you setting your alarm and coming and joining us here on Mars. You know, it's we try to make it a great experience for everyone. So thank you, mate. But your health is number one, okay? Balrog looks superb. Who said Storm don't like black people? That's funny. That was last night too. That was crazy. But no, he does look really good. This Balrog, man. It's giving like Vegeta vibes. I guess because of the hair, right? And like the expression. Really crisp, man. Looking good. And then let's take a look at this Chun-Li. I don't know. I wish I could sit here and say that maybe the head sculpt is smaller, but I can't tell. I think it looked good from when I saw it on the promo, and I think it still looks good now, but I can't confirm whether or not the head sculpt is bigger or not. So hopefully, like I said, we get official confirmation from Mr. Lee or Storm Collectibles. I think that would be great. It's the head, it's the light bulb head that looks weird. We might get them by March 31st. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. It still counts. Yeah, it does still count. Some of these Street Fighter faces look more close to Street Fighter 2 or Alpha 1 than Alpha 3. And that might be something too. There may be some merit to that, actually. Again, going back to what I was saying, perhaps if they don't finish all of Alpha 3, they would have got far enough to have said, well, we finished Alpha 1 and we finished Alpha 2. And I think that would be a good, not necessarily excuse, but a good answer from Storm. I would happily pay extra for the Storm Arena stuff to get a familiar spread as the regular stuff. 4 heads, 8 set of hands, effects, count me in. Okay, yeah. So you're on boat for that, which is great. The more people on boat for that, the better, because there may be an option down the line, or there may be an update to where they do increase prices, but also include more stuff with their releases. And it would be cool if we got similar to with Jada and their exclusives. If Storm would come up with some kind of exclusive bundle release for some of these characters. The first one that comes to my mind, obviously, is going to be Sagat's. If we can get like an exclusive bundle release for Sagat where he has his flame effect and then he also has his Tiger Blaze effect or Tiger Shot and Tiger Blaze effect, I think that would be pretty awesome if we could get somewhere around that area for exclusives. Maybe with Ryu, like Evil Ryu could have a flame and a regular Hadouken and things like that. Two Gis, stuff like that. We're getting there, hopefully. Tove says, I wish they did the rest and Storm Arena scale like their Space Adventure Cobra and Hajime no Ippo. Yeah, those figures, I don't know. It's too early to stay for Storm Arena. We just, Storm Arena, it's new, it's fresh, and it's developing, right? So we just have to pretty much be here, take it in, learn from it, look for any patterns and things like that. With Storm Collectibles, we know they released one-off figures from like different IPs, whether it's anime, if it's a game, or what have you. We just don't know what the case is going to be with Storm Arena yet. If they're going to do that, personally, I would love for them to do that. I would love for them to, in 1 year, reveal like 3 off the wall, like individual releases. And maybe it doesn't even have to be off the wall. Like, one perfect example would be a Resident Evil Jill Valentine for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We just need one Resident Evil figure, Jill Valentine's, bro. That's all I'm asking for. We just need one Strider figure. That's all we're asking for. You know, we just need one Captain Commando. That's all we're asking for. Okay. We don't need to have the whole cast of all of those different IPs. Just a main person is all we need. All right. Damn, that Felicia. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait. Yeah, we've got some looks at Felicia as well. Well, let me get caught up here on the comments. You guys are doing crazy. Holy shit. Listen, if I miss you on the comments, I do apologize. I'm gonna just jump in here real quick. Son, he's got a funny comment. Balrog got that BBC, so he's on that. Stone saying hot, hey bud. Gobi not surprised. The only black person Storm Arena has made has a beat up head. Oh well, I mean, I don't know. That is it is what it is. Let's see. Buster said, Storm like us, brother. I assume LOL. But yeah, Storm seemed to be art design over sprite, which cue this rate. I don't care. Just want them to get them all out. Exactly. That's all we want. Buster left, Turtle Buster left a like. Make sure everyone else follows suit as well. Drop those likes. I would greatly appreciate that. We've got Jamal, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Her head is too small. So, okay, from his perspective, he's not like seeing that the head has been adjusted. So that's fair. I honestly don't know. So for me, looking at the figure, it's Chun-Li. It looks great. And I'm expecting the Player 2 Chun-Li that's going to be like the Street Fighter 2 variant. That's what I'm more excited for and I want to see. But yeah, holy shit, the head is small. What the fuck? I'm dying. I only just noticed. Yeah, that seems to be like the common consensus between everybody is that the head is too small. For me, like, I think it looks fine, but maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know. We got to get Storm Arena Chun-Li in hand to really see if the head is too small. Exactly. I mean, really, someone should just comment on Mr. Lee's post and ask him. How about that? I need one of y'all to jump over there and do that real quick. Just ask him and say, hey, has the head been adjusted? You do really need it in hand. Do we have release? No, nothing released yet. Looking like Beetlejuice. Need a one-off of Jin, Strider, maybe Captain Commando, because I don't know when 5-2 Toys is going to release theirs. Yeah, I don't know either. They're kind of like, I don't know. They're giving sus, honestly, at this point. Like, bro, the pre-orders are not here, though you're saying it is. I mean, hopefully by the end of the Capcom Cup, they will be available for pre-order. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. 5-2 Toys, man, Fig Light, y'all gotta pull it together, bro. Y'all giving sus vibes. Okay. You being at the Capcom Cup, that is a huge deal. And I don't know if you're aware of how huge that deal is or not. I only want Jill and Tyrant. Maybe a zombie LOL. Resident Evil 4, etc. Just RE1 and maybe 2. Yeah, look, just a Jill Valentine. Just give us a Jill Valentine, please. That's all we need. If we can get that, then, I'm happy. A lot of Resident Evil fans are happy. And then we can talk about where the future is. But all we need is Jill Valentine with a rocket launcher, a green herb, and a knife. That's all we need. Balrog got the yeah, it's crazy but true. Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy if they actually had like a if they actually showed it, they sculpted it. That would be wild. Storm is the only company flirting with Street Fighter EX plus Alpha line with that Skullomania. That is very true. They're my only hope for a Doctrine Dark figure. I'm not sure who that is, but that sounds pretty badass. And I know the Street Fighter EX Alpha line. I've seen some of the character designs. Somebody was in here talking about that on one of the previous streams. It was like D Dark, I believe, was it? Oh, maybe that's him, right? Doctrine Dark. Okay, that's who it is. He looks like kind of like Honk a little bit, something like that. Okay. Storm is showing their true colors. Very racist, but at least they're giving us good figures. Hey man, I don't know. Do we do we fault them for that? And I don't want to sit there and say that's the case. We're looking too deep into it and having too much fun, but that's okay to have some fun about it. So let's see. We're almost caught up here on the chats. Uh, uh, what you think, Mars, Jada or Storm for Alpha Chun Li? I'm gonna go with Storm on that one. I gotta see more from Jada Toys. So I gotta go with Storm on that one. The effects look good, and we don't even know truly if this is gonna be the final in-hand shot and product for Chun Li. We don't know that yet, so we have to wait and see. Sun says 5-2 toys don't want it like Storm wants it. Yeah, bro. Storm wants it. Storm wants to close the door on Jada before they even get a alpha pre-order on the table. They're like, no, we want you out. We want you to not have that. So I'm excited for the WonderCon. The WonderCon is going to be at the end of the month. Jada's going to be there. Hopefully, June is going to do some interviews with the Figure Report. Though I think they did say they're done doing that. And who knows? Maybe them doing those interviews in the first place is what got them in this spot with Storm, because Storm is definitely, up their ass in a sense. Alpha Proto is good. I forgot about this stream. Yeah, we're still here. We're still live. Though I will say, we're probably going to be live for like 12 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. This is an in and out kind of stream. I would have loved to go on a little bit further, but we'll wait and see how it happens. But yeah, kind of in and out on this stream. Let's go back and take a look at these figures here. Looks really good. The Zangief, very interesting on that head sculpt. I got to say, like, it looks to be one of their best detailed head sculpts. And I don't mean that as in like, oh, it's accurate to Zangief, like beat for beat, like this is perfect. Like, I'm not saying that. This could be a whole different character. I'm just saying the head sculpt itself looks really nice and detailed. And I don't know if you all agree with me on that, but Storm is always paying for a license and only making one character. Well, look, the theory that's going around is that the owner of Storm is like some rich guy who has money to blow. So if that's the case, it's his world and we're living in it. How about that? I might be living in someone's world, they might be living in mine, but we're all definitely living in his world, and we just got to take it how we can and when we can, and that's just how it is. Storm isn't racist. I'm black. I'm not seeing that. Yeah, we're just looking too deep into that. Let's not focus in on that because I don't think that's the case. Spaded One says Doctrine Dark or Doctor. Yeah, Doctrine Dark was the blonde, squat looking guy. Yeah, that was the guy. I seen him. He looked pretty cool design. Mars, how racist are you on scale 1 to 10? Look, just because I'm from the mountains don't mean I'm racist, okay? But nobody's a 1. Don't let no one tell you they're a 1, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Storm, release the Darkstalkers pre-order or you're racist. That's right. We're gonna go. What's the one page where if you get enough signatures, they straight up send it to that company or whatever, and like a petition, right? We're gonna start a petition, man. Like, we're giving you your option. This is it. You're making us wait too long here. I feel like Chung Li's head is bigger, but that's just me. Yeah, I can't tell you guys. I'm sorry. A lot of things slip by, but damn, look at the Morrigan though. Morrigan, we haven't really talked on her much. She's there. Her being there is me taking. We're getting a pre-order soon. Damn it, we are getting that pre-order soon. I hope Storm doesn't take on too many licenses. That's what happened with Jada and even Super 7 taking all these IP. The main goal gets lost. It does, but it seems like Storm Arena really wants to focus in on that alpha line. Chun-Li head does look a little small there. Yeah, it seems to be the case. DJ, come on. DJ next, come on, let's go Storm. Yeah, that's where all of that stemmed from last night was old DJ. Oh, good old DJ. I need Rainbow Mika to pair with my the Liger Storm collectible. I know you're talking about. He's a wrestler too, because Storm also does that too. We don't cover everything, Storm, because there are some stuff that Storm does that we just don't cover, and that's like the Japanese wrestlers, and they release figures of, I don't know if they're all Japanese or what the case may be, but they do release wrestling figures that I'm unfamiliar with. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Um, we hope we hopefully get Felicia from the Darkstalker series. Most excellent work. Thank you for joining, Khaled, by the way. Make Wish Storm Arena projects be happy, luck, outstanding work, experience, legendary arcade games. That's true. That is true. So hopefully that's it. I can't, Ken, though we'll have to have a standby one stream. Maybe we'll get a standby to do it for me. Let's see. Or Victor says we need Ed from Street Fighter 6. Yeah, Ed from Street Fighter 6 would be pretty awesome. There are some cool designs for Street Fighter 6, okay? Like I may not like all of them, but there are some cool designs. I would really like to see Ken Masters. I would really like to see Jamie. Ed would be pretty cool just because of his psycho powers and his whole boxing theme, right? He would be pretty unique and cool to have in hand. I'm trying to think of who else is there. Um, there's that one like snake girl, but I can't think of her name. It's not Viper. It's another girl. She's got white hair. She would be pretty cool, I think, to see her. Um, Blanco would be pretty cool. I think getting a Blanco Street Fighter 6 would be pretty cool. And I'm trying to think of who else from Street Fighter 6. JP Morgan. Wait, JP Morgan. Oh my god. Let's see who else we got in here. Neat comparison of Storm Arena Morgan and Storm Collectibles. Yeah, the Storm Arena Morgan is going to be much shorter, but I feel like the articulation is going to look better. And I just feel like the overall, it's going to be better for Storm Arena Morgan versus that Storm Collectibles. It's going to be an amazing figure it's going to be amazing having Morgan figure that fits with my 6-inch and 112 figures. Yeah, it's coming, man. Like we got to have a pre-order by the end of the month for Morgan, man. Like she's in hand, Mr. Lee showing it her off. We've already got the Chun-Li pre-order. We've been speculating Zangief and or Balrog is going to go for pre-order. Damn it, just throw the Darkstalker pre-order out there and it's going to stick, man. Like I've been dropping videos here and there for Darkstalkers. They all perform well. The community really wants to back Storm Arena Darkstalkers, but Storm, you got to get the pre-order out there. We got to see what we're going to get with this figure. Not much of Darkstalkers fan, but Morgan looks ready for pre-order. Yeah. And we'll have to wait and see. It's been a whole year since she's been on display, and every time I see her, she looks better. Still feel the needs to be fixed. The needs for who? For Morgan? Because I mean, that's apparently from Mr. The Lethal Collector when he was touching on Chun-Li at the New York Comic Con. He felt the figure was ready. He just didn't know where the pre-order was. And then for Morgan and Lilith, he did seem that those figures were a bit fragile, which that could be the reason why. I mean, even he feels, just like a very popular content creator, of course, probably his first impression with the figure, he's going to give back his honest feedback, right? And if the figure feels fragile, then maybe there's some work that needs to be done. And that's why we haven't got those pre-orders yet. I really hope John and Rikuo are next to a Bruce Lee werewolf and merman are a big one for me. Yeah, from Darkstalkers, right? Yeah, there's a lot of awesome characters in that whole line for Darkstalkers. Ken 2 with his new Street Fighter 6 outfit. And I like that one Street Fighter 6 outfit where he's got the white hair and like the black vest and the red pants. That one looks pretty cool. That would be a cool exclusive to have. I'm fine keeping the Street Fighter 6 figures in the collectible scale. I don't plan to mix them with the other games. Yeah, and that's cool. And I'm glad you're collecting the Street Fighter 6, the Street Fighter 6 line because there are some good figures. Luke was good. Ryu was good. Truly a great head sculpt for Ryu, honestly, across the board there for Ryu and the effects as well. Yeah, Jury, that would be a nice one to see. Aki, I'm not sure if I know who that is, Aki. The Morgan diaper looks 100 times better than the collectible. Yeah, Storm Collectibles. Yeah, exactly. That's fair. That's a good take. So thank you on that one. I like that. And okay, that I was gonna say it looks like they took away the ab cut area, but now it's still there at the torso, at the waist, at the top of the diaper. You can see it. It's very it's hidden because of the lighting, but you can see it right there. It's there. And I think like Lilith and Morgan, those might be the last two figures to feature that ab cut right there at the torso. Bubbo's in the house. Says sup Mars. We got Silent Man. What's good? Damn, 59. Yeah, we're climbing up here. We've hit 60 a few times, so I appreciate that. The goal this year for the Mars Live is to hit triple digits. So if we can hit 100 people in here this year, that would be absolutely stunning for me. So I hope we're all there for that on that journey. What happened to Baki Do Samurai? Anime aired, no figures. We're waiting part 2. So with that series Bakudo and with the new IP reveal, I'm very excited for that. First of all, I hope we do get to see uh Musashi Miyamoto. I hope we do get a figure of that from Storm Arena. Now, why haven't we seen anything? It's because, ladies and gentlemen, in case you weren't aware, this is the Capcom Cup. So, with that being said, it's just Street Fighter and Darkstalker. That's all you're going to be seeing at this event. Now, when it comes to everything else, when it comes to Baki, when it comes to KOF, I think, and this is just a theory, Image Anime, Image Anime, they do the display for Storm at Anime Expo. They do it at the New York Comic Con. They had their own exclusive here recently with the Purple Ryu. I'm sure you're aware of them by now. If you go on the website, you can actually look to see what events they're going to go to throughout the year. They are going to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia in May, where it is called the MomoCon. This MomoCon is going to be a special event because the Wonder Festival from Japan will be in attendance. Now, does that confirm any kind of Storm Arena display or anything like that? No, but it is interesting to know, and it does mean there's a possibility for that. So, I say that to say you could potentially see Baki Do figures or Baki displays of Jack Hanma and of KOF at the MomoCon in May in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. If not, then, May, you got June. In June, 100% Baki is having another festival event like they did last year where we got the Storm Arena reveal for Hanayama, the guy in the white suit. So that is going to happen again this year in June. It is not confirmed the Storm will be there, but apparently and hopefully they will be there. If they do, that is when we will see more Baki Do reveals. High School says, I wish Storm makes Vega soon. Yes, Vega would be interesting. I want to see that because I think the Vega from Street Fighter 2 is not as skinny as the one from Alpha 3. Like from the artwork that I've seen from Vega from Alpha 3, he's like really skinny and he's got the blonde hair. So I would like to see that also. Now let's go ahead and really quick, let's jump over to, let's see, Mr. Lee. Okay, here's our grayed out sculpts. But before we do that, I want to show you guys. This is what I was saying earlier when I was talking about how he had a picture of Marvel versus Capcom. You can see, I don't know much. Hold on. You can see on the right, all of that is Storm Arena versus on the left, where it's composed of different brands. And again, I just love that for Storm. That's incredible for them. So let's go ahead. We're going to look at these grayed out prototypes here and get that going. So there is Sagat. Now we've got Victor from the Darkstalkers line, and then there's Felicia. So those are our 3 reveals for the event. Khaled says Morgan and Zangief from Marvel vs. Capcom series, most popular characters, Darkstalkers, and Street Fighter Alpha 3 Storm Arena Project characters. Outstanding works. I like this. Yeah, it looks good. Storm makes me so happy, bro. Same here. Aki. Morgan is a staple of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Yeah, she's going to be a good release. And that's, I mean, what do we want? Do we want them to reveal a figure and then it go for pre-order like too soon? And then like what we get is what we get and we're stuck with that? I mean, in my eyes, Storm only has one shot at this. Don't fuck it up. If you need to take the time, then take the time. You don't want to rush. It's like, video game producers. You don't want to rush out a rushed product and then like it just fail, right? You don't want that. Hope they don't give these female figures Bandai legs within a leg. Yeah. Hopefully not, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. I may get more again from my Marvel's Capcom Select collection. You should. Only want BB Hood, the Wolf, and Dimitri. Those are great choices to have. The Street Fighter 6 figures are awesome. Yes, they are. He agrees with you, Turtle, so that's good. What I really want Jada or Storm to do is a Capcom Heroes line so we can get Jin, Captain America, or Captain America, Captain Commando, Strider, and all of them. And yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. And it's possible because hey, we may be seeing Storm Arena jumping into more Capcom IPs, in which we'll cover that in just a few moments here. We do have an update on that for you in some regard. Sakura is a long time coming. Yes, we do need a reveal for her. Zangief with long wrestling pants was a great release. Yeah, that was for Street Fighter 6, I believe. Lilith and Morgan should be a 2-pack for 80. Ooh, interesting. That maybe that's why the pre-orders are delayed. So I just can't wait to get the pre-orders. So once we get those pre-orders in, then we'll know more information, things like that. Aki was a girl you was talking about earlier that moves like oh, okay, yes, yes, a snake. Okay, yes, thank you. So yeah, that would be a pretty cool figure to get for the collectibles line. Yep, we know you want Karen. She's probably going to come in 2027. I think that's a fair take. Hopefully, she's revealed in 2027. Storm Arena Strider would be sick. I think so too. No on 2-packs. LOL. Storm, please no. Don't be a Hasbro. And they've done 2-packs in the past when they reissued Storm Collectibles, Street Fighter 2, Ken and Ryu. Man, that bad boy sold out super fast, and it went for resale for like 250. So yeah, maybe no on the 2-packs. I guess I could back that too. Stoked for Felicia and Victor. Yeah, I'm excited for both. I'm very excited because we made the prediction, a few days before the event. So yeah, I am happy about that one. She's looking pretty good. Of course, we really can't sit here and say like, yeah, this is gonna be the best figure out so far on the whole line. Blah blah blah. We really can't say that, right? Because the sculpting can come in, the articulation come in, and like it could be bad. But yeah, definitely Victor. He's looking cool. He's looking massive. He's looking different. And I love the uniqueness from the Darkstalkers line. And speaking of love, I'm loving the Street Fighter 3 prototypes, hoping they do Vega. He's my favorite character from Street Fighter overall. Well, I hope they do that pretty soon as well. We have a Jack drop. Nice. Yeah, if we can get Jack Hanma, articulated and painted, I think that would be cool. Homeschool, same man. Vega's my favorite. Yeah, a lot of people are loving the Vega right now. Hi to Felicia. That's right. We ain't saying bye. We saying hi. Not a fan of Street Fighter. Did they already release everyone? Hope next IP is Mortal Kombat. Yeah, Mortal Kombat would be cool. I think Mortal Kombat, just how earlier, for those of you who are in the chat, again, if you're just coming in, we've got 37 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. Like I was saying earlier, for Jada Toys, I feel like their big moment was their like Street Fighter 2. And I feel like their next big moment is going to be Invincible. We could sit here and say, oh, no, Alpha 3 is going to be their next big moment. Yeah, sure. If you're like a Street Fighter diehard fan, sure. I mean, that's your fair opinion to have. Though I would argue, no, they're not. Storm Arena shut that shit out. They done closed the door on that for Jada. So that's not going to be what their big hit. It's not going to be Alpha 3. It's going to be Invincible. And for Storm Arena, I feel like their next big hit is going to be the Darkstalkers line. Because think about it, right now, we've got so far Street Fighter Alpha 3, which is doing absolutely phenomenal, selling out. The player twos are selling out. They're reselling for fucking $150, $200, $300, right? I think their next big hit is going to be Darkstalkers. So they can't mess up. They've only got one shot at it. Still waiting on my updates for the Fonjoy's KOF line. Yeah, they had the second team go up for pre-order, and that's pretty much it. And that's why I'm saying, like, really, Storm Arena could come out here and be like, yeah, okay, Jada, you're doing Street Fighter 2. Well, boom, let's do Alpha and show you what it's done. And we're gonna stomp your marketing plans for Alpha 3. Oh, Fonjoy, you're a different scale, but you're releasing these three, teams at the same time, like all three characters released at the same time. Fuck, we're going to do that too. So hopefully that is going to be the case when it comes to KOF. Jada, Toys, and Storm Collectibles should collaborate. It would be epic. It would be epic, but like if we're going to do a collaboration, I want to see them bollocks. Fuck collab, and I want to see them box. If they're gonna do any collaboration, I want to see June and Andrew box. That would be funny. I would buy Morgan Lilith tooth pack. Okay, yeah, if the price is right, I'm sure everybody will. Also, a 2 pack of Golden Axe enemies that would Weird Bullet Hell games come from. Okay, yeah, and there's that there too. So a lot of 2 packs and stuff like that. Nothing's off the table, I would say, for Storm. No event exclusives because I mean, because that mean I won't get them. Yeah, if there was an event exclusive at this event, it probably would be like very expensive. So I'm glad there wasn't one. So I think that's great. Felicia has big hair. She's going to be difficult to stand up. Yeah, I mean, hopefully they do it right. They do it right with Felicia here. I'd love I'd love it if Storm did Street Fighter 6 and Jada did Street Fighter 3. So many figures I need from both. Yeah, that would be the best case scenario for all of the collectors is if they kind of went in different directions and did different games so that ultimately every collector is winning. And that's what it's all about, right? I feel like Morgan has potential to be a 2026 figure of the year, just as Ryu was last year. That is if she comes up for pre-order by the end of the month. I think we're likely to see her be released by the end of the year. I'm in love with that Balrog. Yeah, that Balrog, man. I agree. He's looking creamed. He's looking clean. Balrog. Let's see if we can get the paws on him real quick. Again, there's Morgan looking good. Yeah, this Balrog, man. True aura farming right here. I need it all now. Morgan giving me hope for Vice and Mature to look good. I think they will. They will. June versus Mars and D Amazing versus Richie. Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be a good time. Hoping they do the Blanca hair from Jada Toys for Felicia. Yeah, I never got the Blanca figure, but I'm hoping they're not going to release a figure that could barely stand up. That would be bad. And if you see my Samurai Jack review, I mean, hey, people do that. They need to do bad guys for Cody and for Haggard. Yes, that's true for Final Fight. And um, shoot, I'm not even sure where to start with that one. Looking creamed. Felicia has big feet too, though. Yeah, she'll stand just fine. Yeah, she does have like the big feet because of their big paws and things like that. So Khaled says we need Heis and Co from Darkstalker series and these Storm Arena projects. Yeah, I think that Heis and Co. I think that's like the ghosts, right? Like the Japanese ghost with the long arms. It's got like the purple skin. I think that's who that is. I'm happy that they put the Darkstalkers figures next to the Street Fighter 3 figures. Now we know that they'll scale well, unlike Baki. Oh yeah, that's true. That's a nice detail. I didn't notice that. Silent Man says Balrog looks weird to me, like he's in a different game, as if he's a guest character in Killer Instinct. Yeah, I mean he is giving that like different, right? Like, for me, just looking at it, it's giving Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if it's because of the hair, but and like because of how big he is, and just like it's giving Dragon Ball Z. So I agree with you on that one. Like a guest character in a different universe kind of deal. I can see that. Felicia needs a stronger neck joint. And then, oh, here's an idea. Why not make Sakura event exclusive so no one can get her and made Storm lose money? Yeah, let's not do that. Mid 90s instant or Killer Instinct. Yeah, probably so. Bobo, wait, that's not a bad idea. All right. Well, look, that was a short stream, and we were gonna do it with Richie Figs, but we're kind of short on time, both of us here, and I would have invited him into the stream, but then the stream would have gone on for like another hour. And unfortunately, I am short on time. Hopefully, he's gonna go live tonight. Maybe I don't know. If not, I know he definitely will be going live on Sunday, and I might be live tomorrow as well. Just stay back or stay up to date. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Make sure you have the notifications on. Okay, let's end it here real quick, Mars. What did I say? Heisenko is pronounced Shinko. Okay, there you go. And that's how we're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen. Balrog is on the screen. Let's not end it off like that. Let's end it off with who else? Who else can we put? It's got to be Morgan, man. We got to get the manifesting going. We got to manifest Morgan pre-order for the end of the year. We know Balrog is coming. We know Zangief is coming. We know Chun-Li is coming, but we need Morgan. Please, Darkstalkers. We need Darkstalkers. Thank you all for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait for the future of Storm Arena. We're going to be here for it all, and you all will be too. So thank you. In the next one, we'll see you then. Have a great night. Peace.